bienvenidos, feliz lunes, welcome, Agent Spotlight. This is Monday, we're starting the week off right. We have something for you guys today that is, a little bit, I guess, out of what we usually do. Today, we will be talking about title. My name is Carlos Estrada, Agent Spotlight, stay tuned, and let's get this started.
Hey everyone, my name is Abel Badillo with Driggs Title. Like Carlito said, we usually bring you some of the best agents in the entire state, but every now and then we like to mix it up and bring either a loan officer, but today we have an extra special guest because we have one of the best escrow officers in Arizona. So what does escrow do? They're a neutral third party in the transaction that help protect you as a consumer. So without further ado, we have Bianca Gonzalez with Driggs Title. Bianca, how are you?
I'm doing very good. How about yourself? Everybody's doing really well on this Monday.
Yeah, I know we're doing amazing. So definitely thank you very much for leaving your office and coming and joining us here at Agent Spotlight. But what is Bianca's job? What does really neutral third party mean? Neutral third party means obviously there's a contract, you know what I mean, on both sides, whether you're working with an agent that is representing the seller, and you're also working with an agent that's representing a buyer, right? Neutral third party means obviously that they are the third person involved or the third entity involved in the closing of your transaction. Bianca, tell us a little bit about you, how long you've been in the industry, and what brought you to the industry?
I've been in this title and escrow industry for actually April will be 20 years that I've been doing this. So I came into this industry fresh in high school as a file clerk for the foreclosure department. So that's how I came into it and just worked my way up from there.
The foreclosure department, right?
Yes.
So
Back then we used to have paper files, so I'd have to file all the paper away.
I mean, let's hope that we don't go back to those markets, right? But definitely, you know what I mean. So you haven't had any other jobs?
No, I have not. This is it.
This is it. So this is all.
Well, I mean, when the market took a dip, I went and became a contract processor for the cemeteries and for the Diocese of Phoenix.
Well, that's different.
Yes.
That's more bad.
It was very humbling.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure. But with the background and because you started in escrow, you probably got to see a lot of the transaction from start to finish, which probably makes you even better because you know the ins and outs, the tedious work, everything that has to do with an escrow transaction. So I think that's what makes Bianca a very, very special and very well-knowledged escrow officer. I know that a lot of the agents that come on the show that work with you, will call you, and ask you questions about the transaction, about escrow, about how this works, about how that works.
Yes, they do.
But you can help, obviously, agents direct their business to you, but can you also help a consumer that's doing a for sale by owner or purchasing a for sale by owner without the use of a real estate agent?
Always.
So,
there's, they'll still have to do the contract. We won't do any negotiations for them. They have to handle that with the buyer directly. But we'll make sure the contract's followed.
But you protect them on the title side, making sure everything's
correct.
So
that it's still clear.
Anybody that's buying a transaction, buying a property without a real estate agent, it's very important to have an escrow officer that is knowledgeable because they're going to make sure that the title does in fact get transferred to your name. No. Can you also help investors?
Investors, yes, we can help as well. We do have the investors that will come with their contracts, their wholesale contracts to get their stuff taken care of as well.
So Bianca, obviously, people are listening today and they're wondering. I was like, well, what is neutral third party? What is exactly their job? And I mean, we mentioned obviously they're the neutral third party involved in the transaction, but why does somebody even end up at a title company?
One of the stories I really use the most to explain title insurance and why you should use it is a few years ago, probably about 10 years ago, I had a realtor who bought a house for sale by owner from someone, and she's in the industry, so she understands she should have got title insurance, but it was a little old viejita that she bought the house from, so she was like, you know what, no worries, I'm just going to pay her cash and get done with it. Well, the lady was a widow, so her husband's kids, who were not her own, came back and were like, no, we own half the property.
Wow.
So she didn't get title insurance, and they had to go through court, and she had to pay them out outside. Wow.
So the idea of title insurance is that it pretty much ensures that when the property gets transferred, when you buy a property and there's a transfer of title of ownership per se, the property is indeed transferred to you.
Correct.
And you guys are the insurance, or we are the insurance company that pretty much covers and protects that transfer, correct?
That there's no quit claim. If there was a quit claim, making sure it's the correct signatures, making sure they were the correct owners that deeded it off, things like that.
How common is that?
It's a lot more common than you realize.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like even agents are listening today, and they're like, hey, you know what? That doesn't happen. You know what I mean? A lot of people are still using quick claim deeds, which I hear that they're not.
It doesn't happen if you use Bianca.
Right. No. And I understand that, but you know what I mean? It's not very common for like the average, I guess, realtor. But when you're doing it every day, 100 transactions, 200 transactions, just in one office, obviously we get to see a lot more of that. That I guess that's what I'm trying to put in perspective for people that are out there, that are listening, and or even like agents that are looking to list a property. I know, and I'm gonna ask it as a question, but we're able to pull a title search, correct? Before anything goes to market.
We can do, if you have a listing and you want to see if there's anything outstanding on the property, we can do a listing with title. So just send us an email, and then we'll give you the verbiage to put into your MLS to request that the title's been opened with us.
And that's super important, especially in certain situations, like if you know that your seller, someone on the deed passed away and you don't know how they took title, because we have run across situations where, the husband passes away and now the wife wants to sell the house, but they didn't take right of survivorship, so now it has to go through probate. You can save yourself a headache if you open title with Bianca, because she can run the title search and then start the process to do whatever it is that needs to be done in order for title to be clear and ready to go.
Yes.
So I think that's an advantage that.
Well, here's the thing. That's the idea, right? That you have a title company, escrow officer that's knowledgeable to be able to assist you in those closings. And it's been my experience, dealing with escrow officers that. That doesn't becoming an escrow officer, although, it doesn't happen overnight. I feel like every escrow officer that's out there
experience.
has a literally like 20.
You have to really do your time and do it. It's not something you can just go in and
like prison. You gotta do your you can't become an OG without doing the time.
You need your stripes.
And the thing is, it's not like any other, industry where you can jump in and be a realtor right off the bat. You can jump in and be a loan officer right off the bat. But with escrow, it's not just learning the ins and outs. It also, I feel, it requires such a high level of organization that not everybody has and not everybody can do. Yep. And in my opinion, a file should never, ever, ever close late because of escrow.
Yeah, no. Unless the only way a file will close late is if you do not get us your ID statements for your seller in time. If you keep avoiding our emails and text messages and calls, there's nothing we can do. If they have judgments and they didn't disclose it to you, we don't know. Yeah, that's why we require stuff in advance, so that way we can get it done.
And it's usually right because of the the lack of preparation. That's what I want to say. The lack of preparation. That's why you have to get in hold of your escrow officer, preferably Bianca Gonzalez with Driggs title. But it's preparation. There's properties that have gone through probate, right? And they didn't do probate.
They didn't do it
correctly.
Yes.
And now the transaction's delayed, and now you have to restart.
You have to wait months to get it done because it's been a deceased person for 20 years.
Yeah.
Bianca, can you tell us a little bit? I know with a lot of the agents that you work with, whenever they open up an escrow, I think it's every week. At the end of every week, you kind of give them an update.
Yeah,
on the file,
I really try to give that update.
Which is something that not a lot of escrow officers do. I think you're one of the very, very few. But I mean, that should incline people to. I really try to give everybody an update so we can stay in communication, because communication is really key. To the transaction.
Bianca, I know people are listening today. Realtor agents are listening today. People that are, that know you, that work with you, that know how you work. Even people that don't, and they're wondering, hey, you know what? I'm having a mess of a transaction. I didn't know that I can prepare ahead of time. That's the biggest key when it comes. If you're an agent, or even if you're for sale by owner, and you wanna know, hey, you know what? I was inherited this property. I want to know exactly, hey, what I need to do to be able to convey, to be able to sell this house or this property without no problems. How does somebody get a hold of you?
My office phone number is 480-237-4599. The best way to reach me is email though. So it's biancag@driggstitle.com. that'll be the best way to.
That's amazing. We're gonna go to a quick commercial, come right back, and we're gonna keep talking about, hey, you know what you can do in case you encounter probate, or you encounter, hey, it's a 1031 exchange situation. It's just a little bit of the professional side.
Whenever FERPTA applies. That's a big one.
Yeah,
that's been a big one, especially for our community.
Yeah, so definitely stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hi everybody, I'm Amber Diaz. I work with Driggs Title out of the Westgate office. I have been in title and escrow for, oh my gosh, over 20 years. I've been an escrow officer with Driggs for the last 5 years. So I love doing escrow because I love getting to be a part of a transaction that's such a huge part, and I like to help bring joy and peace to it because it can be a very stressful situation. So I treat every transaction like it's my own, like it was my own mother, my own family. So that's just really important to me. So yeah, that's all about me. Hopefully we'll see you on the next deal, and don't forget to keep tuning into Agent Spotlight.
Hey everybody, we're back with Agent Spotlight. Like we mentioned earlier, today we have a very, very special guest with Bianca Gonzalez from Driggs Title. Like we mentioned earlier, she is one of the best escrow officers in the state of Arizona with over almost 20 years experience. So Bianca, before we get into all the professional stuff, answer all the questions that people may have in their head, we want to play a few games. So
Okay.
Our first one's going to be Truth or Dare.
Truth or Dare, okay. Let's do Dare.
Dare.
I dare you to sing a song for
Oh my God. I do not sing well.
30 seconds.
And or
30
take a
seconds.
shot.
I'll take a shot.
That was fast.
Well, if you do take a shot, you have to say, hey, Dwayne Johnson out there.
I
You.
know. The rock, Dwayne Johnson, your tequila is amazing.
She's like, get your baby on.
Get her. Pour it up.
Pour it up.
Let's continue on. Obviously, talking about your professional life, Bianca.
Shit, that's, well, you'll be fine.
In a nutshell, are you the one that took it, or she's taking it? Because
taking it.
you're pouring it all over the table here.
It's my Dare.
Woo! Yeah, it's what do you call it? It's como agua bendita.
¿Verdad? Literally. Has a little burn so good.
Yes.
Yeah. So Bianca, keeping on and obviously moving. What drew you to title?
I was never drawn to title. I was in high school and wanting a job after school, and my cousin said, "Hey, well, we're hiring for a file clerk," and it was down the street from my school. So,
Okay.
and
So you just kind of stumbled upon it, right?
Yes.
So I feel like the escrow is one of those jobs where you just don't wake up one day and say, hey,
definitely not.
I
I had other plans. I was enrolled to go to ASU, and
What's up?
they were like, "Hey, we want to stay full time and work with us," and then I joined the PC after hours gang.
you know what it is like, with escrow title and escrow, it's like, it's not really like talked about, like real estate agents, they're out there marketing. I feel like it's becoming to be like more like a hey, I'm an agent, like that's I'm a cool person, right? With title, it's more like, hey, oh yeah, you're one of those.
Yes. They're like, "Oh, you're an escrow officer."
Yeah.
What do you do?
Yeah, right, exactly. With escrow, what does exactly mean? I mean, in a nutshell, can you just kind of walk us through what somebody would,
So for purchases, we just have to make sure the contract's abided by and that all your guys' boxes are checked along the contract, that all of the contracts followed, kind of like an attorney.
Right.
Just making sure that the contract's followed, that the sales price is right, you guys have the addendums, and that it's abided by.
Right.
Because that's what the buyer and seller agreed to.
And you also get to make decisions based off of, the terms of the contract, correct? So if two people are fighting for the earnest money, two sides of the
That
transaction.
goes to administration. That's never a situation where your escrow officer is going to decide who gets that money.
Okay,
Yeah,
but
so
it's
our
the escrow
administration-
company is the
yes,
one
the
that.
escrow
Okay.
company will decide who's going to get that.
So people are listening today and they're like wondering, like, oh yeah, well, okay, it sounds like I own a property and I have to, have a title company. Who uses title companies? Is it just just residential or commercial lots or commercial land? Is it open for everybody?
It's open for everybody. So the difference with me is I do government transactions as well. I do commercial. I do a lot of land deals.
Doug, do say you have your girl.
Everything. I can do pretty much, a lot of.
And I've
everything.
I've had the privilege to work with you. I mean, they've done private like prisons and stuff like that when they sell they sell those. I've gotten to see those, and they're
That's intense.
Yeah.
$30 million, $60 million deals. So
sidewalk splits, canal splits.
Yep. So you've done deals that, and I've seen them because a little bit of history here. I used to work for her. Like she was her assistant.
Yes.
So I mean, we gotten to see little small splits where the deal was $3,000, $1,500 to, hey, you know what, they're selling this prison for $60 million. So I guess what I'm trying to feel this is build the fact that, hey, you know what, I am the right gal to work on your transactions, because
I'm a little bit of a stickler, but there's no gray area in this job.
And that's sometimes really, really great, because there's a lot of people that when they work with someone, they just want someone that they know is going to take care of it, and I think you're that person. Because I'd rather take that than someone that's super bubbly and spends an hour talking to someone on the phone because they're trying to, and then doesn't get my stuff done. So I think I'd rather have someone that gets it done, and if I don't hear from you, that's good news.
Yeah. News is good.
No news is good news.
Let me ask you the following, Bianca. Obviously, somebody's listening. They're for sale by owner. They're like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna reach out to you because I need to make sure that I can sell this property. Once again, I said it earlier, it was inherited to me. I don't know exactly what's affecting title, or if it was even transferred to me the right way. Somebody just signed a quick claim deed, and nothing that I have done nothing. I just know that when I look at county records, it reads I am the owner. Is that necessarily true?
It is true most of the time, but what people don't understand with the quitclaim deeds is that any liens or judgments will stay intact for the previous owners. They don't go away. So if you inherited a property or you got it quitclaimed to yourself, their judgments will still stay intact, and you take that risk on.
Take that, and then if it wasn't inherited, I'm assuming sometimes, and I've seen it, there's like, hey, you still gotta go through probate.
Right, because you don't want the quitclaim.
Correct.
Bianca, I want to touch on a subject because I think it affects our community, especially with how crazy home sales are. And we've run into it a few times where you have an agent that's not super experienced and doesn't explain to their client what FRIPTA is. Can you touch a little bit on what that is and how it can affect someone? So
FRIPTA is for a foreign seller. The sales price, and the buyer is buying a property from a foreign seller, whether it's Canadian, or Mexico. They are a foreign seller. They have to pay back the taxes that was paid, and it's going to get held and sent to the IRS on their behalf. I believe it's 25% of the sales price.
Is it? I thought it was like 15.
Maybe it is 15. I'd have to look at the profits, what it is. But most of the time, if you just sell it under $300,000, $299,999, it won't affect your property, and it has to be the buyer's primary residence. They can't buy it and fix and flip. It has to be their primary residence for them to get that seller not to have those FRIPTA taxes paid out.
Okay, and the only reason I want to bring it up is because we've run into a few situations where they sell for $315 and then end up paying more in taxes.
Oh yeah.
They would have sold for $299. So I know that there's a lot of people out there that are in that situation, and it's enticing to sell the property. However,
and the IRS website does show the FRIPTA guidelines on it if you go on there and look. If you just go to the irs.gov with the FRIPTA guideline, type in FRIPTA, it'll show you their guidelines.
Okay.
Charging. Do you charge for information?
For information as far as like listing with title, no, we don't. We just request that you do get us the listing when you go to sell it.
Okay.
That's just our request. We can't strong arm you into it. But
right.
That's just, we would like you to send us the deal.
Yep.
Well, because those reports cost us money.
Yes, we do. Yeah. So we lose money when you guys.
So we pay for them. Driggs pays for them up front. So that, like we said, it gives you an advantage because You don't want to get 2 weeks into the transaction and now you're gonna.
Well, here's the thing too. I mean, obviously, you know, we get there. It's not, Driggs gets to work right away, right? I mean, it's a chain of title that needs to happen, you know. So they have to pretty much like date down from the beginning of time and look at every single transfer of title and make sure that it was done correctly. And if in somewhere there's a discrepancy or a breakage, I mean, they got to figure that out. So all that takes time and it takes resources.
Most quick claim deeds right now are coming across without, people are just doing, you know, from Carlos Estrada to Bianca Gonzalez, but not listing the marital status. You always have to disclose that, and when you do that, we have to go and get a certified copy and report the marital status as when the original quick claim deed was done.
Because I could have done some
some shady
stuff and taking the property away from the wifey.
Yes.
Take that, wife.
That's what you get. Go ahead, brother. Okay, well, yeah, no, definitely. So I once again, agents are listening today and they're like, oh man, like I did not know that I can pull a actual title report, you know.
Send over the request.
Send over the request, and we'll take care of it. But there is no charge to get the request done.
There is no charge.
No charge. That's free. They get the free information. Right. Here's the thing: you're a real estate agent. You're out there. You're gonna list this property, right? Let's say, I mean, not in this market, but depending on the market that you're in. Let's say you're in the $1 million listings. You know, last thing you want is your property sits there for a couple of months. You know what I mean? Only to find out that you have all this stuff that you have to, you know, clear, probates, you know, liens, you know. Just think about how that's going to look for your client, you know. But if you're a seller as well, same thing. You know what I mean? Last thing you want, you start rehabbing the house, getting ready for the sale, only to find out that, hey, by the way, you got to go clear something with the city because there's a lien on the property, or you have to pay $20,000, $40,000, you know, to whoever gave you the property, how you inherited the property, that they have some sort of a lien. You know, now that's gonna, you know,
it'll clear up faster.
It'll hurt you.
It'll clear up faster if you get it done in advance.
Or if you're not in a position to sell, then you would know that, hey, I'm not in a position to sell because I'm not okay with paying this stuff.
Exactly.
You know, it gives you the opportunity to, you know,
to do your research on it. Bianca, one last time for any agent, any individual, any investor that would like to work with you, can you give them your office number, your email?
So my phone number is 480-237-4599, and my email is biancag@driggstitle.com.
Bianca, thank you so much for being a part of our show. Super great information that you gave us today, and we look forward to having you back.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Bianca.